Welcome back to Jeeping for Beginners, folks. Once again, my name is... Guess who's back? Welcome back to Jeeping for Beginners, folks. Once again, my name is Josh. Guess who's back? I don't know what that is. Hold on. Let's try that again. Welcome back to Jeeping for Beginners, folks. Once again, my name is Josh, and as a special treat for Season 2, guess who's back?
Hi!
Wonderful Harlie. So to kick off this season, I figured I'd ask you, what do you want to talk about?
Well, Daddy Josh, I've actually been watching your videos throughout my school year, and you've been using words like JK and JL, and I don't know what that means.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, let's definitely talk about that, and let's break it down so that I can help you understand. Will that work?
Yes.
So how many of you at home have had that same question where you just don't understand the terminology that Jeepers are using, especially if you're new or a beginner to the sport? So in that case, I think it's a great idea. And we are going to talk about the terminology of how we name our Jeeps between JK, XJ, JL, and so on and so forth. You ready for the full-on explanation?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. All right, Harlie. So the idea behind the 2-digit codes that we use in the Jeep world, like JK and JL and whatnot, since that's your question, those are actually designated by the manufacturer. It's not something that Jeepers made up themselves, okay? Now here's what I mean by that. On the production line, when the vehicle is being created, the paperwork that they have, every model has a 2-digit code indicating that they know which model they're building. Okay. For example, the TJ, okay, this was produced between 1997 and 2006. It was a regular body, but in order for Chrysler to designate that they were building that vehicle instead of the Grand Cherokee, or the Cherokee, they called it the TJ model. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The JK is the next model. That one had a production run from 2007 all the way through about halfway of the model year of 2018, where Fiat took over and the production code changed to JL. And JL is basically the new Wrangler that's out since halfway through 2018.
Wait a minute, so does that mean that all Jeeps only have 2-letter codes?
You know what? That is actually a really great question. And the answer is no. And let me explain why. You know what? That is a great question. Have a seat. Let's talk about it. Now, when the manufacturer comes up with the production code, it's always 2 letters. Okay, but when you change the model halfway through, but you don't change the production code, that's when we as Jeepers decide to add a little bit to it. Here's a great example. You ready? In 2004, on the TJ model line, Chrysler changed it up. They stretched the wheelbase and they made a model called the Unlimited. Now, according to Chrysler, it's still a TJ, but in order for us as Jeepers to differentiate between that and its cousin, the TJ, we changed it, called it an LJ. But we took it a step further. In 2007, when this body style came out, Chrysler made the Jeep 4 doors. So that was considered the Unlimited model. So as Jeepers, when we say JK, 9 times out of 10, we're referring to the 2-door. We'll say JKU, and we'll refer to the 4-door. Does that make sense?
Whoa. You were talking to me about this first.
Okay. No, you're right. I apologize. Did you have another question?
I do. You're saying you add a U at the end of it. How come I've seen you add an R?
You know what? That is a great question.
I've actually wondered that too.
Okay. Let's talk about where the R comes from. Okay, honey. So when we talk about the R that you see some Jeepers add to these initials, it does stand for something different. I'll give you a good example. What makes Daddy Josh's Jeep different than Mama's Jeep?
Well, yours is a Rubicon.
Exactly. So the R stands for Rubicon. The reason we differentiate this out was in 2004, Chrysler decided to release yet another version of the TJ Wrangler, and that was the Rubicon. The Rubicon was the off-road model. It had the special equipment and the ability to make it down the Rubicon Trail without any modifications. So, in order to differentiate the Rubicon from the other models, we'll add an R. So for example, Mama's Jeep is a JKU because it is a JK model and it's a four-door. Daddy Josh's Jeep is a JKUR because it's a Rubicon. Does that make sense?
A lot more than it did.
Awesome. All right, folks, listen, I know that this can sound really confusing and a little convoluted. So here's what I did to make it a little easier for you at home. In the description down below this video, I included a link to a web page that is going to break everything I just said down piece by piece. It'll also show the production years of each model, like the CJ, the YJ, the TJ, the JK, so on and so forth. And it'll also explain the production codes for the other models, like the Cherokee, which you have your XJ version and your ZJ versions. You also have your Liberties and your Patriots. Every one of them has a production code that is referred to somewhere online. Instead of taking 30 minutes of your time in this video and explaining each and every one, like I said, there's a link down in the description. Go ahead, click on that. Hopefully that will fill in the blanks and answer the rest of your questions. All right, buddy. Did that help you understand?
Yes, very much so.
It did? Awesome. How about you? Did that clear that up a little bit?
Yes.
All right, I'm so happy. Hopefully for you folks at home, that cleared that up just a little bit. Again, like I said, there's a link in the description. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me and I'll see what we can do. I'm so happy to have the family back together again for the summer. Season 2 is going to be awesome and epic, right? Why? Because I am in the process of making a movie that we are going to release solely on this channel just for you. So stick around. If you haven't done so already, I want you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Help us reach our goal of 2,500 subscribers by the end of 2022, right? We're almost there. We're almost at 1,800. So I know that we can do it. In the meantime, thank you for joining me, kids, and we will see you next time. If you look at Daddy Josh's Jeep, right, what's different about this Jeep than most Jeeps that are on the road?
Money.
Truth. But what I want you to say...
Whoa. You were talking to me about this first. What was I supposed to ask? What was the question?